along with the uniform. evening. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm 87YM. Western Washington Amateur Television Society is a group of amateur radio enthusiasts that take to the airwaves with fast scan television. We have a repeater located on the mountain, and on 70 centimeters it's a cross-band repeater. It's 6 inches, 1.8 gigahertz. To learn more information about the Western Amateur Television Society, Google WW7ATS, Google WW7ATS, and that will take you to our homepage. There you'll see the frequencies that we operate on, and also you'll find a link to YouTube where we stream our nets on Wednesdays and Saturdays between 8 and 9 o'clock. Also, we'd like to thank the Seattle Repeater Association for allowing us to use WW7STR's 147.08 for our voice transmissions during our nets. So with that, I'm going to pause in case anybody has emergency traffic and needs to make a contact before our net gets fully underway. And again, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on Dave 87YM. Just been by a video link already is 87QKU Ron, N7CS Bert, Richard K7ITX, U7N James, and myself Dave 87CYM. Is there anybody else who would like to check into the net? 1217 Hotel Yankee Bravo. And Gary just checked in, K7HYB. Again, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. Again, I'm Dave 87CYM. Let's start off the net with Ron, 87QKU.
Okay, thank you, Dave. KD7ZYM in the group, KD7QKU. Well, it started out kind of a rainy morning here. We had a little over half an inch of rain last night, but it sure turned out to be a beautiful day. I went down about noon. I went down to I can't think of what it's called now. Oh, Habitat for Humanity. I was looking for some used kitchen cabinet uppers to put in the garage. I've been down there in the winter and they had a whole bunch, and then I went down a few weeks ago and they didn't have any. So today I went down and they had a few, not much. I got two, nothing matching, just some cabinets. They had shelves in them, that's why I chose those. They weren't even all the same size or anything. So I did get a couple. So hopefully I'd like to have a couple more. So that'll be my next project, mounting them on the wall. Alright, I guess I'll turn it back to Dave, 87QKU.
KD7QKU, thanks for that. Let's go on to Bert, N7CS.
Okay, well, good night, everyone. Good to see everybody again. I missed last week, or the Wednesday net. Yeah, Dave, just a signal check for you. You're coming in a bit weak. So I don't see, if there's no one on Echolink today, you may want to consider trying that alternate PL tone, just to see if it works any better, but if you're not configured for that, probably no big deal. Let's see, what's going on? Well, the big news lately has been, about a week ago, my team at work, we decided, hey, let's get together and do a lunch, because we hadn't done, like, a team lunch in a very long time. So some people didn't want to show up, because they were worried about health and stuff like that, but we did have a total of 10 people come to the lunch. And the outcome of the lunch about a week later was that there were 2 confirmed COVID cases that came out of it. So So we had a 20% hit rate from our launch. So I guess we won't be doing one of those for a while again after that. But anyway, I don't know if I have that much to talk about tonight, but maybe I can think of some stuff later. Anyway, this is Bert in Marysville, 87CS, back to net.
87CS, thanks. Let's go to multi to Gary, K7HYB.
Good evening, Kilowatt 7 Hotel Yankee Bravo. After a long absence, I've been busy and involved in other activities to keep me off the air. I've been trying to get some things wrapped up here in the shop. I finally got my big thing out of the way. The computer that I use for my accounting program for my business crashed on me. So I've been frantically trying to get that back and operate and get another computer loaded up and get the software loaded and working, and now that seems to be settled in, so I can start billing people and writing invoices and doing all that kind of stuff. So that's about all that's new from here. We don't have any new information. Looks like we're down a little bit tonight. I should speak for myself. I'm not very regular here. I'm going to try and get my things back together again here, so I can get back on the net on a regular basis. So enough for you folks, and I will back to you, Dave, for my turn next time. K7ZYM, K7HYB. My agent's catching up with me.
K7HYB, Gary, thanks for that. Let's go to Richard and Kent, K7IATS.
Alright, that's a letter. Yak from the repeater there, but that's okay. So, yeah, what a beautiful day. Actually barbecued, and barbecued in the sun. So, it was really actually a lot of fun. Mika was outside. Because the weird part is, we've got some very large rabbits that aren't afraid of humans. And so I'm out in the backyard, and here are these big rabbits, and then it just takes off like a shot, and I thought, oh, the dog's chasing me. No, it wasn't the dog, it was Mika. Mika was, I don't know what Mika would do if he caught the rabbit's bigger than Mika, so, and it wasn't just one rabbit, he was chasing, about 5 minutes later, chased another rabbit, so Mika had fun, and now Mika's got another thing to add to her list of critters to look for. First it was, little tiny birds, and that's real sad, so I put up an owl on, to scare the little birds away, and some scare tape. That's worked. Then it's the snakes. She can hear the snakes. She can hear them. And so that's kind of I like garter snakes. Really like them a lot, so I don't like her to hurt them. And now it's rabbits. Rabbits, I'm not too worried about the rabbit if Mika's not going to catch one. I noticed that right away, that they were actually in a slow hop. Mika was on going full blast, so it ain't going to happen. So that was an excitement here this afternoon, along with some really good steaks. The YL found on sale. I hadn't had a boiled artichoke, complete with the leaves and everything in quite a while. K7ITX, back to net control.
K7ITX, thanks for that. Let's go to Bellevue to James, WW7ATS.
Okay, well, I'm trying something really different tonight, so I'm asking for an audio check. How am I coming through on the 2-meter repeater tonight?
Full quality.
I'm using a Chinese Samsung radio with one ICOM IC-706 Mark IIG, and I mean, it's only like 25 or 30 years old. They just don't make them like they used to. because I came to the conclusion today that there seems to be something wrong with the VHF, UHF transmitter device, that transceiver. Use everything the same, pretty much little dongle converter, and then use 1 watt, and that's working better than what should be about, I don't know, 10, 15 watts, then there's something wrong with that transceiver, because everything else is staying the same. So anyway, I discovered this during the 5th Saturday drill today for the state and for the county, and a lot of municipalities participated in that. And I think we're dealing with more than one problem, because just to complicate matters, our 441.1 repeater, I'm convinced that it might be rain or something. So there was a little bit of rain starting off at the hill today, and we were getting all kinds of weird problems. And it wasn't just when I transmitted. Other people were getting them when they had the transmitted as well, which is, I guess, why you do drills like this. So I got a lot of people to tolerate 15 counts both giving and receiving, and came to the conclusion that something goofy with this transceiver. Okay, well, hello to Gary. Glad to have you back. And Gary's age is never a factor in ham radio as long as you can reach the microphone. That's the only requirement there. And Ron, you found some good cabinets at Habitat for Humanity. That's quite an accomplishment right now. With the cost of materials skyrocketing, people are selling stuff on Craigslist that normally they would have had to pay to take away to the dump, and people are buying it. Good job on that. We are getting an excellent signal tonight on 1.2 gigahertz. It is just crystal clear. A good solid 5 on a scale of 1 to 5. So that's good. Bert, sorry to have you to hear that you had a 20% hit rate, but my neighborhood's headed the same direction. There's COVID to the left of me, COVID to the right of me, and I will be charging onward, happily onward here next week. I'm going for a COVID test tomorrow for something that I have to do, but it's just amazing to me that we got people all over my neighborhood, and the good news is apparently they're not getting critically ill, including older people, so that's good. They apparently go mild cases. So that's great. So anyway, I think I've talked enough now and confirmed that this seems to work. I've got a few other things to say next time around. This is James, WW7N in Northeast Bellevue.
WW7N, James, thanks for that. And this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Max 308 machine. So here in Lake City, I've got 56 degrees, partly cloudy. Oh, it's beautiful weather today. I got to go to downtown Edmonds and have lunch. Did a lot of the shopping. Anyway, really, rough lunch. Enjoying the weather, even though the weather forecast was for intermittent rain this afternoon. It didn't happen. It was just beautiful. So that's my report. This is Dave, KD7ZYN. So let's get to Ron, K7QKU.
Okay, this is KD7QKU. Well, that was terrible, Dave. I didn't understand a word you said except for the last one or two. And the same with James. You started out okay, James, but in my opinion, your microphone needs to be kicked up. You just didn't have any punch to your voice, and I didn't understand hardly a thing you said. I'm sorry to say, it was awful. So far, I don't know. My ears aren't very good anymore, and I think we need to go to a different repeater, personally. This one's terrible. Back to net, KD7QKU.
KD7QKU, Ron, thanks for that. Let's go on to Bert, M7CS.
Okay, James, when you first asked how am I sounding on your new setup, it was perfect. And then when you came back, it was kind of mediocre, but we can still make you out. So, but with Dave, it's kind of just swinging wildly from full whiting for like 10 or 15 seconds, and then he's unreadable for maybe 20 seconds, and then he's back to full whiting again. So I don't know what's going on. But let's see, what else we have going on? So my wife and I went to the mall in Linwood today to kind of walk around for a bit. And while we were in there, they had there's a little, a new manufacturer of motor vehicles there. And someone was making like a small, like three-wheeled, I guess it was like a motorcycle, but it was like it had an enclosed cabin. So they were selling this new, they said it was technically, I guess, classified as a motorcycle. But it was EV powered. They said it gets about 100 miles per charge, which isn't very much, especially for a small vehicle. It was from a company I've never heard of before. It was like Electromechania or something like that. But I just checked their website a little bit before the net to see what they had there. And in addition, I guess, to this little like three-wheeled vehicle, they're also making an EV car a roadster, but it's in the style of the 1950s vintage automobiles. So I didn't see that one at the mall. They only had the three-wheeler, but the 1950s vintage car on their website was pretty interesting. I don't know if I'd pay for that myself, but it did look cool. But anyway, that's probably it for now. This is Burton Niceville, N7CS, back to net.
N7CS, thanks for that. Oh, I see Lee has signed on. N7KC has put into us. Go ahead, Lee.
Connected N7KC.
7KC? Whoops, I'm muted. Oh, no. Oh, good. All right, good to see you guys. New year in Port Angeles in 7KC. And I'm a little late because we had a technical problem with the TV connecting to the internet. And that's serious here when that doesn't happen. So I've been downstairs in the TV going for Paula because that's what she does when I'm not down there with her. Anyway, I don't know why. There didn't seem anything wrong with the internet. They ran fine on the computers and stuff, but for that TV, it would not connect up. But I got it to go finally, and I don't know why. It was just going from home to use. It's a new TV, so it's a constant thing. I don't think we've had it a month, so it just misbehaves again. Back it goes, I think. I did not buy the protection plan that they always want to sell you. Other than that, same thing weather here, pretty nice day. Coolish, that's everything. We're off there, they can you believe it. Holy smoke. And, looks like Mr. Man, GYN, got shorn, I think. Yeah. Anyway, he did get a nice trim. Anyway, everybody's looking good, and I don't know if anybody's back. I can't see off the screen or not, but anyway, back to you, Dave. It's 7KC. I'll settle in here and be ready to go next time. Go ahead. Thanks for that. Let's go on to Gary, K7HYB.
Yeah, KD7ZYM, K7HYB. Well, I'm pushing my age limit, I guess, a little bit. Good evening, all. I'm trying to get myself together here. It's been kind of wild, and I'm not terribly happy with what's going on in the world right at the moment. And so consequently, I'm not seeing, feeling much like, oh well, whatever. Anyway, I got a really good, strong signal for the theater tonight. Nice. It's almost, I would say it was about P2.5, and that's pretty rare out here. I generally don't get that good a signal. If I get a P1, I'm lucky, and most all the time all I see is sync bars. So, and I actually got a picture tonight, and I could recognize Ron and Dave, so everybody was on there. So I'm monitoring the 1.2 gig output. And yeah, it's been pretty wild, so trying to get things back going again. I lost my focus for a while because my computers went bad, and it couldn't be that one of them had to go TU. I had to have another one go TU. I managed to get it running, but the other one is junk, so I've got to throw it out. And, I was able to manage to recover my software, and more importantly, my business data. That was the big issue I was worried about, to make sure that I could keep my business records straight. And I've got that going, so now I can start doing the things I need to do. And I've got a half a dozen jobs here that are sitting on a bench that I didn't want to proceed with until I could document what I was doing on them. So I kind of slowed things up a little bit. And yeah, the weather kind of held off for me pretty well too, because I'm a droplet here. The weather kind of held off on me out here a little bit. We did get some sprinkles, but that was about it. We thought we were going to get we thought maybe we were going to get one of those hailstorms that we did get here over the last couple of weeks, but didn't pan out. We're still supposed to get some more, so it's hard to say what will happen as the day comes along. Anyway, audio only tonight, no video. I've got stuff scattered all of my workbench here, and I still haven't restored my, I know what the problem is, I just got to get the part forwarded. I still got to get my video graphics generator running, the 5-volt regular field. And there's just something around to buy another one for it, so I gotta get off my duff and get something done. Back to you, Dave. K7ZY, K7HYB.
K7HYB, and the net acknowledges KF7UHK. Jessica is checked into the net. Let's go on to Richard, K7ITX.
Great to hear from you, Gary. I hope we can eventually see you pretty soon. But it's really, it's better to have you show up and we can hear you than not show up at all. So thanks for coming out. Let's see, what else was I gonna? Oh, I know. I might have mentioned to you guys that. I was on this new mission to lower my blood sugar. What is it, A1C or something like that. And so the only way I could really think I could figure it out is that I actually started testing my blood after certain meals, and it's really been pretty interesting to say the least. So one thing I found out right away was that my favorite taco meal with full-size flour tortillas, probably if I just ate one, I would have been okay. But two, along with 2 giant glass sizes of milk, put me over into the red zone. So I won't do that again. But the lunch the next morning with some oatmeal and a small roast beef sandwich and some milk, that just scooted right under the wire. So I was pretty happy about that. And then shrimp rice and milk, that was great. But what wasn't good was the full meal deal of a couple eggs, 3 sausages, fried potatoes, orange juice, milk, and cocoa. No, and it wasn't that bad, actually. If I wouldn't have had the orange juice and cocoa, maybe I would have to get rid of the milk, but for sure, because I had that same breakfast today with water instead of those other things, and I was way under. So I'm really figuring out that it's just the pure sugar, like orange juice and then the flour, the white flour. So far, that is the culprit. And I did go with, I had 2 roast beef sandwiches and 2 glasses of milk, and that was way too high. So I'm learning. I've got a ways to go to get it all figured out, but for sure, that large steak, artichoke, and 1 glass of milk, that was nothing. That was a piece of cake as far as blood sugar goes. So Ron, I'm not going to be a vegetarian. I've figured that one out right away. So I just doesn't. I love vegetables. Don't get me wrong, but it just doesn't satisfy me. And so I'm pretty happy that at least when I guess it's your kidneys that control the situation, along with your pancreas that puts out the insulin. I think if I just eat normal and not stupid, I'll be fine. KD7ZYM, K7ITX, back to net control.
K7ITX, yeah, time for ID again. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net. I'm KD7ZYM. 630 James, WU7M.
Well, if you just eat normal and not stupid, that should become my new tagline. Yeah, that's, well, it's good, Rich. I'm glad you're figuring it out. It was interesting. I'm afraid to probably look at mine. It probably would break the machine. I've gone to 5 watts. I'm going to ask Ron, can you hear me any better than you could before now? Okay, well, I was congratulating you on your quest for building materials for cabinets before. I don't know if you heard that. That's amazing. Very thanks for the information on the 3-wheel. I've always been fascinated by those vehicles, and of course making them 1 wheel in the back and 2 wheels in the front was a major step in stability. And so I was always interested in that. Gary, if you can hear me, you should consider a UPS power supply. I think it's an odd coincidence that you lost 2 computers at once. I'm wondering if you got some kind of a transient or a power spike through your commercial power that jarred one and killed the other. I've found since I've been running UPSs on my equipment, I just have fewer problems, and I can't really explain why. That's because I do have software that kind of looks at it, but I don't know, maybe it's like paying the mob or something. Now the Fuji Power knows I have them, they're just not hitting me anymore. Okay, there was one other thing I was going to say. Richard, the only way to eat tacos and bezel beer is not just one, it's one after the other. I think you got that recipe wrong. That's how I was taught in Texas, and that's what happens every time I sit in front of a pile of tacos or tortillas. Yeah, garter snakes. We used to have a large garter snake, the biggest garter snake I have ever seen. It would lay out on a trail next to my home, and I would go out there, and I would make a game to see how close I could walk up on it before it would notice I was there and be annoyed and slither off into the ivy. And I guess a hawk got it, or maybe it died of old age. It was so big. I don't know, but I haven't seen him in a couple of seasons. And the last garter snake I saw was a little tiny one that was right in my front door, and it thought it could hide from me by poking its head underneath my white mat, my welcome mat, with all the rest of it hanging out. I said, man, you better get better at that or you're going to become food. And I think what your rabbits are running from, they probably think Nick is a bobcat. Because they just seem to instinctively, around here, the bobcats just hunt out an area and move on to the next one. And I can tell that the bobcats have been out of my immediate neighborhood for a while because I did see a very large rabbit just 2 days ago. So it's time for them to return. I don't know if they have a LinkedIn page or not, but it's kind of nice when they enjoy the rabbits. So with that, I'll throw one question out to Bruce. I know Wade tried to get an ICOM piece of equipment repaired, and they told him it was too old. If any of you had any experience with that, or know anybody, let me know, because at the very least, this old ICOM 706 definitely needs some tuning up or some kind of help, because if the Chinese Baofeng radio can beat it out on the transmit side for VHF signal, then there is something that needs a little help with that. So with that, this is James, WW7ATS. We're turning into our net control day for the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. Take it away, Dave.
WU7N, James, thanks for that. This is Dave, KD7ZYM in Lake City. Hey, Gary, sorry to hear that your computer had messed up on you. I had one go out last week with a hard drive, a terabyte hard drive, and had to get the Geek Squad to get that reinstalled and then move files over, which they did very well. The only problem I had was getting it to talk to my printer, and it just had to put a new driver on the new computer, and that took care of the problem. So anyway, I'm back to normal, but it did take some time and a few scruples out of the pocketbook. So that's pretty much what I've got to say here. This is Dave, KD7ZYM. So let's go up to the top to Ron, 87QKU.
Okay, thank you very much, Dave. KD72KU here. Well, that round was much better. James, still your modulation is lower. You don't sound the same as you used to. I don't know. This radio isn't as good. Your voice is different, that's for sure. So I had to go. I went out and I got a package of frozen teas and stuff. My wrist, my right wrist, the carpal tunnel really bothered me all of a sudden here. My hand was asleep and hurting. I helped Joanne dig this afternoon in the flower bed. We finally wrapped that up. She went all the way around the house on the east. The beds were just full of these little bulbs. I don't know what they were exactly. Some kind of it almost looks like grass that comes up, and they never really had a flower on them. But there were little bitty bulbs in the ground. Some of them were small on the end of your little finger. And I think we finally got them until next year, and the ones that we missed come up. So I've been trying to get caught up on all the projects. I guess I told you I bought a different tarp. I got a 14 mil dark brown tarp put over the boat. And then I raked all the leaves out underneath the patio. It's a little deck. It's about 2 feet above the ground, but you can't crawl underneath it. And the leaves had accumulated underneath it for years. So I put I can't remember if I told you this or not, but I added a long handle to my, leaf rake, and I reached underneath there and I drug them all out. Oh, what an awful job that was. It's taken me a couple days to get over that, between my wrists, my arms, my shoulders, my back. I had to lay on my belly and try to hold that rake up in the air and then reach all the way back to the foundation on the other side and drag it forward, go all the way back and drag it forward. And of course, it's less hassle when you would drag it forward. But anyway, after hours, I finally got it all done. And then, when I first came here, I turned the fence into a gate. So I put a 4x4 down through the boards, and then I nailed them to the 4x4, and then I taken the reciprocating saw and I cut them off, cut the boards off from the other corner. It was a corner. And then I hinged it, and then I went over where there's a gate you walk through, and there was a 4x4 sitting in cement. So I take the reciprocating saw and cut that off. So now I could move it. But it was heavy, and I had to drag it. So I built a wheel in a bracket, and I lifted it up about 1/8 of an inch, put a little spacer underneath where I cut it off, and then I built the wheel and painted it all, and then I bolted it to the post and taken the little spacer out, and the wheel's really nice. It's a swivel wheel. Got it at I can't see the name of the place. Cheap tool place, Harbor Freight. But it's a nice little wheel and it's going to work good. So now I can almost move it with one hand. So anyway, that'll be fine. So like I said, I was looking for cabinets. the next big job is to get the garage straightened up. So it's still a mess. There's so much stuff piled on the workbench that I can't do anything. So I do have some other things going on. I'll tell you about it next time around. So back to that KD7QKU.
KD7QKU, Ron, thanks for that. Let's go to Jessica, KS7UHK.
KS7UHK coming in a little late because we just got done watching the White House Correspondents' Dinner. It was really good. They had Trevor Noah as one of the speakers, and of course Biden did some bits too. And it was really well done and funny too. Tonight we had pork loin and rice for dinner, and it was delicious. So I got to about my last couple of days up in Skagit Valley, and I've been doing that bus job. I got a job up there at the Skagit Valley Transit, and I was practicing driving a 40-foot bus around orange cones and making right-hand turns and left-hand 90-degree turns, which when you go around a corner, you want to make sure you don't clip the curb or the car you're going around. So you have to make these 90-degree turns and do them very precisely. And then on Thursday they lined up a bunch of orange cones, and we were going to back into these orange cones in different angles. And I did that pretty well with instruction from our trainer. So I feel pretty good about that. I was really worried about it at first, but they said it would probably take 6 weeks or something like that to be able to go take the CDL test. And there's a lot of stuff to know for the CDL test. So I'm practicing the stuff that we are going to learn. I'm going to break here real quick. And one of the things that they start off with is a air brake check and air system check. And it's a lot of things you have to do, and turn the bus on and off, and pump the brakes, and watch the air fall to a certain point. And you'll tell the inspector this is where it's supposed to fall off, and turn the bus back on. This is where it's supposed to go up to, and where the cutoff is before so much, and be able to tell the inspector all these things. Along with looking at every single dang part on that bus, which is things like doors and door seals, and windshield wipers and windshield washer, tires, rims, and if there's no welds, and things oozing or rust, down to just everything on this bus. It was like 8 pages of stuff you have to learn to really go through and precisely tell the inspector as you go along. And hopefully you also don't run over any curbs while you're doing these tests, because they'll kill you right away. So it's been a lot of fun. The teacher seems really confident in us and confident in teaching us. So that's what we've been doing this last week, and it's been a head full of information. So I'm going to pass it back to KS7HK.
KS7UHK, let's go to Lee in Port Angeles, M7KC. M7KC in Port Angeles. Dave, I've had to reboot my computer. I tried to put a second camera on it, the microscope actually, and I didn't like it very well. So I'm still getting the system back up here. So back to you, M7KC. M7KC, okay. Let's go to Bert, M7CS.
Okay. Jessica, good luck on your forthcoming CDL test. That sounds like it'll be tough but fun. And it's a good thing they didn't test me and all that kind of stuff with my car, because I have no idea how it works. I just turn the key back then and it moves. So Richard was talking about the testing with the drop of blood or whatever. That reminded me, on Hulu they had this show called The Dropout a little bit ago. It was about the story of that company, Theranos, how they were trying to build these testing machines that could take one drop of blood and tell you if you have all these different diseases. It would run something like 100 tests or whatever. And it was a good idea, I guess, from a thought, but from a perspective of engineering, it didn't look like it would ever really work. So the series was all the dishonesty they had. It was a pretty good show. But that got me thinking about what Richard was saying. Because now the reason that Virgo stuff was like not possible was because there's so much variation from one drop of blood to the next drop of blood that it's not always consistent. So, Richard, I think you're going to have to redo your test with that full Millville. You would have to eat it again, the full Millville, for science, just to compare the results from what you had before to see if it really matches or not. So, I mean, you have no choice. You just have to do it. But anyway, that's it for now. This is Bert and Rachel, and 7CS, back to that.
Yeah, I guess I'm not paying attention. It got around to me quicker than I thought it would. Yeah, well, that was kind of interesting talking about that company that defrauded all those investors over that one drop of blood. And public wouldn't listen to the people who knew what was going on. Sounds like a couple other situations that have gone on around that country here in the last couple of years. They won't listen to the experts, the people that know what's going on. Somebody that, don't let me get started here. Anyway, I'm watching a video off a repeater tonight, which is kind of interesting. It's kind of nice that I get a chance to see the output on 1.2 gig. And I've been, when I got the time, I've been getting into trying to control the heater through the link. I was just wondering if we made any progress on upgrading the link quality, the control frequency quality there. I know we talked about it. I don't know whether we made any progress or not, because I haven't been coming in on the meetings or the things coming after the net at night. So somebody ought to answer that for me. Maybe James can give me the clue on that one. And it's good that everybody is still alive and kicking, so we can at least we can talk. Hopefully the next year or so will prove that we're smarter than some other people in the country. I don't know. Anyway, that's about it. I'm just curious about the control link and see if we've done anything on that. What to you, Dave? KD7ZY, K7HYB.
K7HYB, thanks for that. Let's go to Richard, K7ATS.
Create some feedback. I have my handheld nearby, so people that can't hear very good on the 2-meter can hear on my unmuted Zoom. And so I think the answer to your question is we're waiting for the snow to melt at the repeater site at Tiger Mountain. And once that happens, then I think there'll be people going both to Tiger and Cougar. So it's the snow problem is at Tiger. I don't think it's at Cougar. But so that would be my guess. But as far as the controlling goes, I'm not sure what you're referring to. Maybe that's that Cougar. So, I do know that a lot of us should be able to control the repeater Cougar if we had better antenna and receiver situation. condition, so that could be what you're referring to. But right now, it's all contingent on coordinating Tiger Mountain's work with Kruger's work and having the snow get out of the way. I guess what it's been described to me, it's somewhat treacherous, and then you got logging trucks you got to be concerned about, and you want some real good rig to get you up there. And thanks for bringing that up about Thornhouse, Bert. Before I comment on that, yes, no, I have been taking multiple tests, especially this morning. I was so happy about my low score for one of my favorite breakfast of eggs and sausage and fried potatoes. I was just thrilled that it was so low, and so I took it again, and then it was even lower. So, gosh, I think I got this thing figured out now, and I'm not going to ruin my pleasure in eating it. But I do know this, smaller portions do help a lot. But as far as Thornhouse goes, pretty much all I know about that is this video presentation by 4 guys who are experts in body language. And they did a complete analysis of the Thornhouse lady. And oh my God, I didn't realize she's literally, it looked like she's into hypnotizing people. She wouldn't use, in her presentation and talking to potential clients and investors, she wouldn't use her normal voice. She'd use this low, man-like voice. And then she would just, her eyes were just penetrating. She wouldn't blink. No blinking. Until she got in court. When she was in court, and I saw that, a lot of blinking and a real high voice. WW7ATS, K7ITX, back to net control.
K7ITX, thanks for that, Richard. And again, this is the Western Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7TYM. Let's go to James, WU7M.
Well, thank you, Dave. And to answer Gary's question, there's been no changes to anything on what your question is, and I think that's probably on hold probably for a little bit longer. So thank you very much for the pointer on the Theranos documentary. I watched one earlier on that, and I was just fascinated by this. But apparently she tried to imitate the Apple entrepreneur with her sweaters and her voice and all sorts of things. But, that's really an interesting story. As far as how far it got, that's what just amazes me, is how far the bait, hook, line, and sinker was swallowed. I just have an idea, Ron. You mentioned little tiny balls that look like grass. I wonder if you have wild onions. I wouldn't suggest you bite into one to see, but you might ask somebody who's an expert in such things, because they're little tiny things. They are actually a member of the onion family. They call them wild onions, and I guess if you get the right ones, you can eat them, or if you get the wrong ones, I guess it would kill you. So I don't know if you have any homeless people in your neighborhood or not. It's probably easier to ask the botanist. So let's see, what else here? I'm envious, Jessica. It sounds like this is what I think is the perfect job. It's called a stretch job. It's doing something you've never done before. And you're going to get all good at it, and your brain will be stronger at the end of it. So that's actually the perfect job you want. And, okay, so on Richard's deal, absolutely, I agree. For statistical significance, I remember in some kind of a contract, you had to have 7 tries on a ballistic shot to get statistical significance. So I think you should have at least 7 repetition of meals before you decide that one's too much. Then probably chocolate would be an extra 10 or 15. So So anyway, that's it for this round. Looks like we're getting close, and it looks like we have something interesting. So let me send it back on that control bay. So this is James, WW7N, in Northeast Bellevue.
WW7N, thanks for that, James. And for Richard, with his test, you might want to check with your pharmacy and see how far after you've eaten to take the test, because the body metabolizes at different rates. So if you do it too soon, it might not be much. If you do it too late, it might be a lot. So anyway, I checked with your pharmacist. I think the pharmacist would know the chemistry better for that test than your doctor would. So anyway, just a point of information. And getting back to Jessica with the bus, boy, that sounds like a lot of work. It's something you can't take home with you to test it in your backyard after hours. So it's kind of hard to get that, have to get it on the fly and learn it while you're behind the wheel, unfortunately. So anyway, well, this is Dave, 87CYM, and this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, WOD. So let's go back up to Ron, 87QTU.
Okay, thank you, Dave. KD7QKU here. Well, Jessica, I've always found when you drive a big vehicle, you have to set up for the corners, especially the right-hand corners or the left-hand corners, really. So I found that if you're like in the middle of the lane, and then you're going to make a right-hand corner, remember, you always pivot from your rear wheel. You turn from the rear wheel, no matter which direction you're turning. So if I'm making a right-hand corner and I'm in the middle of the lane, I will veer left out to the line, the white line or yellow line, whatever it is, so that I'm not straight. I'm a little bit at an angle, and I'm going away from the corner, and then you turn the wheel like heck to go down the lane. You can't just sort of turn. You got to turn like hell. So the front of that bus swings around, and then the vehicle, the truck, and then the rear wheel, kind of stands still when you make that corner. It's the same way when you make a left corner. You got to drive far enough out into the intersection that you can look down the lane, and that rear wheel isn't going to run across the hood of somebody's car. And I've seen that happen. I've seen a guy run over a girl in Kirkland, went right up over the left front tire and across the hood with his truck, and it was her grandmother's car, and she was pretty excited about it. But anyway, you have to work at turning corners when you're in town on narrow streets and stuff. It's not easy. You kind of get the feel of it after a while, and you know your vehicle, but it's difficult. Okay. So I've been trying to get caught up on some of the chores around here, and Monday the electricians are coming, and we're going to have some can lights put in the kitchen over the counter, the kitchen counter and the sink. And then the laundry facility is kind of off of the kitchen. It has bifold doors that open up to the washer, dryer, hot water tank and stuff is in it. And there is no light in there. So the only light you have is the light that's in the ceiling, the center of the ceiling in the kitchen. Doesn't really get in there, so we're going to have to put a light in there and a switch, of course. And then we're going to have some dimmer switches, if they can, put on, like the dining room light. You can't dim the dining room light. And there's actually 2 ceiling lights in the kitchen, and we have a table in there. We eat in the kitchen, and we would like to have that light, so it's dimmable too. They're round fixtures on the ceiling, and they may be LEDs. I don't know if they're dimmable or not, but I'm going to find out. And then I'm going to have to put a fluorescent light over the workbench in the garage. There's no power there. So I don't know where they'll pick it up. Someplace to bring it over there so I can plug the light in. But where I want the light, there's no electricity there unless I ran an extension cord long ways. I don't want to do that. So while they're here, I'm going to have to do that. So that's what we're doing. So back to that, KD7QC.
KD7, QKU, Ron, thanks for that. Let's go to Jessica, KF7, UHK.
KF7UHK. There in a story which I did not see on TV, but I heard about a lot in the news. Reminds me of the new red light therapy using LEDs that they'll do for everything. They'll put domes on top of your head and grow hair. They'll put them around your body and lose weight. They'll put them around your legs and make them, less achy. I don't know what. And I'm thinking, I've got so many LEDs and bags over here that I never knew were so therapeutic. So red light therapy is for you, and they're very expensive. And there's even clinics out there. I think there's one in Marysville that you can go to and lay on their LED red light bed that will, cure you of everything, all your ails. They got it for you. So snake oil and an LED. Did you know? So there you go. Just go look it up. Go look up red light therapy, and you'll find red light therapy images, and you will find all sorts of stuff that red light therapy will help you with that I think you need. So I've got one right here on my ham radio. It's probably giving me some kind of radiation right now as I speak. With that, I'm going to say 7373. This is Jessica, KF7UHK.
KF7UHK, thanks for that. Well, let's go to Lee. 37ASC. Okay, got it. Well, I noticed that it's 4 minutes, 2.5 minutes to the hour. When I was a kid, I got my driver's license when I was 16. In Ohio, you could get your license when you're 16. You can get a farmer's license at 14. And regular driver's license at 16. And then I went and got a chauffeur's license, too. And that was the one that allowed you to drive anything that carried people, school buses, and all that sort of stuff. And I'm trying to think what the test was like. It didn't seem like it was that big a deal. Anyway, I had one. And it was a badge. It was a circular badge with chauffeurs on it and a number. You got a number, and you had to wear that all the time if you were driving something like that. Okay, I've been fooling with normally I could run 2 cameras on Zoom, and one of them would have been so when I found I can only do it from a window now. The program won't directly take the second camera, so at least it won't take the digital microscope. So I just set it up here so that you can see, and the trouble is if I turn the LEDs on, I get reflection off the front of this watch glass. So I've got another right here at an angle here, so that I want you to see kind of the definition of this microscope. It was really, really nice. Not very much fun. Okay, with that, 73 guys, great night, as always. And I'm trying to think of more interesting things to do with this microscope, and I will do that in the future. So with that, back to you, Dave. It's been KC here in Port Anthony. Oh, wait a minute. Did I ask Jessica, when you allowed the bus up? Back to you, Dave. It's been KC. Jessica, do you want to reply?
Sure. They don't really like it if you back the bus up with people, I believe. They'd rather have you do it in a way that you don't have to back up. Now, Halcom had a no backing with people in it. That was just a big no-no. But with the transit, they didn't seem to say no on it. They'd rather have you go forward. Halcom was absolutely that's what I know.
What's behind the microscope, Lee?
it's a Carson, what is it, 30 to 300, 75X to 300X, got a Radio Shack for about $65 or $7. And it's really, really nice. Comes with the software and everything. I recommend it. In Southern KC, that's you, Dave.
And 7KC, and the Nexus comes to an end for this evening. I'd like to thank the owners and operators of the 08 machine, the TAG Seattle Repeater Association, for letting us use WW7ATS 08 machine for 147.08 for voice transmissions on Wednesdays and Saturdays between 8 and 9 o'clock. So on behalf of the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, this is Dave 87ZYM terminating the net at 9 o'clock. Good evening all. Again, this is Dave 87ZYM.